Good morning, everybody. I am Pastor Nick. This is the last financial Friday show of 2023. The next time I will be speaking to you will be in 2024. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this weekend. This is the last weekend of 2023. Sunday will be our last service of 2023, and actually our what we're going to call our first service of 2024, because it's going to be the eve of when we're going to be together. So I'm just excited. I don't know what to tell you. Today I want to take a little bit of time to really share with you my heart a little bit about 2024 and kind of how I see it relative to this broadcast and this show. I want to thank everybody on here for all of your financial support throughout all of 2023. This is the show that we typically give on Fridays. We teach on finances on Friday, and then we give on Fridays, and that money has been used to share this broadcast. Matter of fact, we have a bunch of that money saved up that we are going to use to promote what we're doing in the new year. So in the new year, we're going to change our format. We're only going to be on 3 days a week: Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Marketplace Monday, Wednesday. On Wednesday, it's going to be all about marriage and relationships and things around relationship. And then on Friday, it's going to be Financial Wisdom Friday, financial wisdom. We're going to be giving you wisdom around finances. And the difference is going to be, we're going to come on 4 times a day. We're going to come on at 8 a.m., at 12, at 6, and at 9. The reason why we're doing that is because, we know that there are, the call of this ministry and what this was actually called to be from the day it started, which was when COVID came, was to launch our T1B campaign, Transform 1 Billion. And it was the evangelistic arm of Life Transforming Ministries, the evangelistic arm of what God has called me and my wife to do. God called us to a local church. But when, my spiritual dad went home to be with the Lord, he expanded our mantle, if you will. And he gave me a mandate to equip believers. That's going to be some ministry equipping, but it's also going to be equipping believers outside of our church to succeed. And we think that understanding the marketplace, we think that understanding relationships and understanding our finances are 3 key pillars that lack in the overall church community. And they're an area that, we can speak into people's lives and help them with that. So with that said, every Friday, we're going to have Financial Wisdom Friday. And what I want to take today to do is I'm going to go through the 12 months of what we're going to cover over the next year in 2024. As you see, the title of today's show is Financial Freedom 2024. It is our goal. It is our heart. It's my wife and I's passion to see people freed financially. We talk a lot about racism and this and that and all these things that are hindering us in this country. But there's nothing hindering people more than financial poverty and financial enslavement. Financial poverty and financial enslavement. And I'm here to tell you that I refuse to believe that anybody has the power to financially enslave you. I believe that through God and through doing things God's way, just like Joseph, we can become free. We can become financially independent. We can become dependent upon ourselves, and God can help us to be that. So what I want to do this year is really help folks navigate that and really come to a point to where they understand it, step by step. To give you an example, in month 1 of the broadcast, we're going to spend the whole month talking about foundations of financial freedom. Foundations. Month one, foundations of financial freedom. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means things like developing a steward mindset. It means things like give to God first. It means things like let me just share with you guys some of these. Living below our means, right? Understanding, what that means to live below our means. So in month one, we're going to cover the foundation of having of what is required to have financial freedom, the foundation. Why is having a stewardship mindset very, very important? It's very important. Month number two, we're going to talk about the power of investing God's way. And I'm going to have folks on the show that are professionals in these things to help talk to us about this, right? So number two is going to be in the power of investing God's way. Faith-based money management, right? Creating a godly budget, building a solid emergency fund, right? So things like that. So month two. Month three, we're going to talk about escaping the debt grip. Escaping the debt grip. We're going to talk about that the entire month. We're going to go back to our, debt, giving away our debt-free class to people, our debt-free manual to help them understand how to get out of debt, identifying and understanding debt, creating a debt repayment plan, debt snowball versus the debt avalanche methods, looking at these different methods of getting rid of debt, right? And then what I think is the most important thing, I think a lot of people do a good job of getting out of debt, but on the last day of the last week of that month, we're going to talk about staying out of debt, a faithful journey, right? Month four, we want to talk about navigating God's financial blessings. Well, what does that mean, Pastor? Understanding God's blessings and prosperity. So it's going to be a little bit more scripture based, right? We're going to talk about a faithful response. We're going to talk about generosity and charity in financial success. We really got to talk about that. Well, Pastor, what do we need to talk about? Generosity is pretty self-explanatory. No, there are a lot of people that are over generous at the wrong season of their life. Sometimes it's not your season to give 10,000. Well, but God told me to do it. Well, if God told you to do it, that's a different story. Then do it and believe God. But if you're going to do that, then you got to operate with the right heart. Because when you make a decision to stretch out on God, and then everybody in the church knows it, and everybody knows what you're going through, and everybody has to live every aching, painful moment of your experience because you decide to stretch out on God, I'm telling you, you're not going to get the blessing. That's your blessing. It's not just walking through the storm that blesses us, folks. It's how we walk through the storm. God didn't call us to just make it through the storm. He wants us walking through the storm with our head high. So we need to understand all these things, especially when it comes to finances. Month 5, we're going to talk about mastering the art of savings. There's an art to saving. I really found this out, man. And the book Automatic Millionaire really outlines it. But there's an art to it. Mastering the art of saving. Month 6, we're going to talk about godly financial goals. How do we really set goals? Pastor, we ought to talk about that in month 1. No, everybody's setting goals right now. Let them set all their goals. We're going to talk about things like financial wisdom for your family. In other words, speaking into your family, teaching your family. That's one of the things I'm really doing right now. Spending a lot of time teaching my children about money, teaching my children how to handle money, teaching my children how to invest money, teaching my children how to make smart decisions on money. We got to teach our children. We got to teach people this, right? The good news is all of these will be available in a catalog. You'll be able to go watch them anytime. The other great thing that we're going to be doing this year is, let's say you watch a video in the morning at 8 o'clock, you're on Winning in the Word, and it's something you really, really like. You can replay it at work during lunch with your colleagues. You can replay it at home at night at 9 o'clock before you go to bed with your husband. It's going to be available to you. We're going to make it available. You could share it out, with a friend. Hey man, here's something that, I saw on finances. You told me you were struggling. This might be it's 15 minutes once a week to tune into about your finances, just to keep your thinking the right way about money and about your finances. It could help you. If there's some things you see in there that can help you, you can go back and watch them, right? We're going to have everything categorized. We're going to have it, titles, so, they can get to what they need, right? Month 9, we're going to talk about God's guidance in career and work, right? Seeking the will of God for your career, work ethics and excellence as a Christian, balancing work life and faith life. That becomes a big issue for a lot of people, and they end up giving up on God. Let me just say this. I'm going to say this again. I've said this before. I've said this many times. People don't hear it, but I've said it many, 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 many times. If you take on any responsibility that pulls you away from your basic commitment to God, church, serving in church, giving in church, what you're doing in church, church is your power source. So the minute you say God told you to do something that pulls you away from that it's not overflow, it's taken away from. No, that's just no. Hear me. Don't get mad at me. Don't get deep with me. No, that is not God. That's not the will of God. It's just not. God wants you doing everything you do out of the overflow. God will give you enough resources. God will give you enough time. I was speaking with a member of our church yesterday, and she said to me, Pastor, God has put in my heart to serve Pastor Franny full time. What the lady said. Now, what I'm going to tell y'all is God put it in this woman's heart to do that. I think they've been in our church 6 or 7, maybe 8 years. I don't know. I'll ask one of them today. But I think they've been in the church 7 to 9 years. No, not 9 years. Probably 6 to 8 years. I'm not sure exactly how long. Faithful as the day is long. If the sun comes up, you know they're going to be there. If the sun sets, you know they've been doing something to help the ministry. That's just who they are. That's the people that they are. I didn't say they're perfect people. They're not perfect people. They're faithful people. Big difference. They're faithful people. So she said, Pastor, and I'm telling you, it was her. She don't know this, but she said this the first day she came to the church. Almost, let's just say 8 years ago. But she's been working at it ever since, working at it ever since. And her husband's been working at it, trying to set things up, trying to do this, trying to make moves. And it's actually now maybe a year or two now to come into fruition. There's some things they're changing. They're rearranging their life. They're doing this new. They're doing that. And it could open the door. We're believing it's going to open the door for her to be able to do that. But if she would have just quit everything 8 years ago and said, God said for me to do this, they wouldn't be where they're at today. They wouldn't be able to do a lot of the other things that they do with that. So what I'm saying is that, again, and y'all have heard me say it 100 times, doing the right thing in the wrong season is still the wrong thing. Doesn't matter just because it's a good thing. Just because it's a good thing. Listen, if you're looking to do good, you will be able to do good your entire life. There's enough poor people. There's enough orphan kids. There's enough homeless people. There's enough starving people. There's enough people without jobs, without food, without shelter. There is enough evil and lack going on in this world that will always be able to help people. There's enough uneducated kids. What about that? What about the mandate of just our children that are in school? Watch this. Worse, parents that think their kids are doing good because they get straight A's in school. Happens to me all the time. I have parents come to me, look, Pastor, my kid's getting straight A's. You know, I don't ever want to tell anybody because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But you know, when you show me a report card that your kid's getting straight A's, it means absolutely nothing to me. Nothing. It means that, well, it does mean something. It means that you're a good enough parent to where you've done your job of getting them to school and seeing to it that they're doing their work. That's a big step. Don't get me wrong. So when I say it doesn't mean nothing, it doesn't. But there are some kids that are just naturally smart. That's why they get A's. And just because they get A's in public school does not mean they're on any kind of level. If you really want to know, let me just tell all my parents out there this. I've said this before. I've not seen anybody walk up to me with this. Nobody's ever done this. Go get all your kids tested. Benchmark tested by an outside agency, not the school. The school gets paid for your kid to do well on a test. So do you think they're going to do everything they can to make you believe that your kid is doing well until your kid gets ready to go to college and now they got to go take a test that is they have no control over, the SAT or the ACT. So if you want to see where your kid really is, go get a outside independent company, and I'll give you 4 or 5 of them to test your child so you know where they're at. It's not to put them down or lift them up. It's just so you know as a parent, are they below average in reading, average in reading, or above average for their grade level in reading? Reading is the most important thing. Comprehension is the next most important thing, and then mathematics. Reading ability, reading comprehension ability, and mathematics. Those are the 3 things you want to know. Are they average, below average, or above average? If they're below average, you want to get them to average. Not above average, average. If they're average, you want to get them above average. If they're above average, you want to get them to the smartest or the highest 1 percentile in the state of Florida. When they get to the highest 1 percentile in the state of Florida, now they will be able to go to any college they want to go to and pick a good school. But that's where they're going to need to be. So anyway, I don't know how I got off on the kids. I know I went way over. Today's Financial Friday. So listen, today's the day that we sow. But what I want you to focus on is in 2024, the show is going to be on 4 times a day. We're going to be on Mondays. We're going to be on Wednesdays. We're going to be on Fridays. We're not going to be on Tuesdays or Thursdays. Well, Pastor, what about prayer? We're going to do prayer. Lakeisha and I are talking about that. We're probably going to do a once a month prayer meeting on Saturday where we come on live on the morning that we do our corporate prayer. We're going to come on live from our church, and Lakeisha and our intercessory team will come on, and we're going to pray for all the prayer requests. We're going to spend probably an hour doing a live prayer meet. Okay. So don't worry. We're going to do that. All right. We're going to do it. You'll hear more about that. That'll start the first week of February. Okay. I love you guys. We got a lot of changes coming in the year. Get to church on Sunday. I'm starting the message 2024, the year of accountability and the open door. It's going to be a great way to start the new year. I love you guys tremendously. Sow your last seed of the year this year, man. Sow something. Let the Lord know that you are a giver, and then come Sunday prepared to receive the word. I love you. I love you. I love you. Until next year, Pastor Nick saying, enjoy